Hi, hello guys, hope you are all doing great. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Everything is 0 and 1. Is the Redmi 12C the best budget phone in 2023? Full review. Redmi 12C has been launched in India as the first sub-10,000 rupees offering from Xiaomi in 2023. With the Redmi 12C, Xiaomi is updating its entry-level segment in the country, which essentially established the brand's foothold in the Indian market. The smartphone has been launched in competition with devices like the Infinix Note 12i, the Poco C51, and more. Redmi 12C Design. The design of the Redmi 12C is pleasant to look at. We get a plastic back panel, with a pattern on the back with several strips running diagonally across the back panel. There is a dual-tone camera module on the top left corner of the back panel, which holds the dual camera setup. The camera module also has the fingerprint sensor placed within, which is a bit of a weird placement for the sensor. A good thing about the design of the Redmi 12C is that the smartphone is very lightweight, but in this case, it comes at the cost of the quality of materials. We get a plain water drop notch display with bezels that seem slightly thick by today's standards. Further, we also get a 3.5mm headphone jack, and the power button, with the volume rockers, is placed at the right side of the frame. Redmi 12C Display. Coming to display, this is a good HD+ LCD panel on the Redmi 12C. We get a 6.71-inch IPS LCD panel with an HD+ resolution. We don't get a high refresh rate and the Redmi 12C offers only a 60Hz refresh rate. We only get an HD+ resolution, so the display doesn't feel very sharp. The colors also feel a bit dull, and this display isn't very vibrant, but watching videos is still a decent experience. Of course, the HD+ LCD panel has its limitations in terms of quality and detail, but comparing it to other similarly priced devices, it's not all that bad. The brightness of the display on a plain white screen using a lux meter, and the smartphone showed a maximum brightness of 383 nits and a minimum brightness of 4 nits. Redmi 12C Performance. Coming to performance, the Redmi 12C comes with an octa-core MediaTek Helio G85 Society paired with up to 6GB of RAM and up to 128GB of internal storage. The performance of this smartphone, according to benchmark numbers, is great. In day-to-day usage, the smartphone feels slightly slow if you're coming from a mid-range or a flagship device. However, comparing it to similarly priced smartphones, the Redmi 12C feels pretty smooth. The smartphone easily ran heavy games like Call of Duty Mobile or Battlegrounds Mobile India, so that is a good point. Of course, we don't get a high frame rate or super high resolution, but the graphics still feel pretty good for this price point. The battery backup on the Redmi 12C is good. The smartphone constantly lasted about 1.5 days of complete backup throughout my brief usage of the Redmi 12C as the only device. The device doesn't even drain the battery in high-power tasks like gaming or GPS navigation. While watching a YouTube video on the highest possible resolution at 50% brightness, the smartphone dropped 7% battery. The charging, however, is slow at just 10W. It took the Redmi 12C 157 minutes, which is 7 minutes more than 2.5 hours for the smartphone. Redmi 12C Cameras. Coming to the cameras, the Redmi 12C comes with a dual rear camera setup that includes a 50-megapixel primary shooter and a VGA depth sensor. The images look straight out of a mid-range smartphone's camera, if not better. The images in 50 megapixels, especially, are sharp, crisp, and full of detail in good lighting conditions like a studio or in sunlight. Although the photos from it are passable and good enough for social media usage, it is not a smartphone where you can show off your low-light photography skills. Redmi 12C Verdict. We get a pretty average display, but good enough performance. We get a very good battery backup, but the charging is super slow. Overall, the smartphone is good for the price you will pay for it. There are smartphones that will offer you a better experience in all these aspects within the same budget, but the Redmi 12C comes with Xiaomi's solid track record in this segment. The Redmi 12C is priced at 8,999 rupees onwards in India. The software remains the same as other Xiaomi smartphones with MIUI, but if you can get over that, the Redmi 12C is one of the good devices you can buy at this price.